If you failed one run, one swim, one obstacle course, then you could do that.
I'm going to have to bring in a little Shakespeare on this one. Shakespeare. Between the acting of a dreadful thing and the first motion, all the interim is like a phantasma or a hideous dream. And that's Brutus from Julius Caesar. And Brutus in the play is plotting to kill Caesar, someone he was loyal to. And Shakespeare, the master of understanding human nature, captures what that feels like. And here's what these lines mean. Between the acting of a dreadful thing. So that's the moment. That moment when you're waiting to do something that you don't want to do. And the first motion. So that's when you actually start doing that thing that you don't want to do. All the interim. Now this is all that time in that moment while you are waiting to take action is like a phantasma or a hideous dream. So that moment when you're waiting to do something, it's like an apparition, a hideous dream, a nightmare.
While you're on the pathway to success, you need to make sure that your first mindset, your first thing you do every single day is figure out a way that you can do better than you did yesterday. And figure out a way that you can improve upon your life that you didn't do before. Make sure that you're constantly getting better in every which way possible and figuring out new ways to learn and to grow and to experience life to the fullest, because that's what it's all about when it comes down to it, is you exploring and learning about life and you figuring out how to wake up and work hard towards your goals. Because if you're not waking up and doing it, then you're not going to do it at all, because if you need to make sure that you're waking up early to get extra time, and so wake up at 5 or 4 o'clock in the morning to get those uninterrupted hours of just pure work that you can put and dedicate into your goals and your dreams and your aspirations, and figure out what it is what you want to do for the rest of your life and make yourself happy and bring your life joy and excitement and new adventures, because it's all about doing what you love and making sure that you are working hard at it, because if you go in just half-baked, half-effort, you're not going to accomplish what you truly want to accomplish. So it's all about your mentality and your mindset and figuring out what it is that you truly love and go after that with the utmost passion and figure out how to go about it, and make sure that you don't listen to anybody unless they're encouraging you, or even if they are, make sure that you improve upon what they want you to do and make sure that you prove the haters wrong, prove the haters wrong, and make sure that they are aware that they're going to be wrong one day. Because when you wake up and you're a winner, that's all that matters.
Know how to stop the laziness, and they want to know how to stop the procrastination. And they have some idea in their head, some kind of a vision of what they want to do, but they don't know where to start. They don't know where to start it. They don't know where to start. And so they say, hey, where do I start? And when's the best time to start? And I have a very simple answer for that. Here and now. That's it. You want to improve? You want to get better? You want to get on a workout program or a clean diet? You want to start a business? You want to write a book or make a movie or build a house or a computer or put together some mobile application? Where do you start? You start right here. And when do you start? You start right now. You initiate the action aggressively. You go. Because the idea isn't going to execute itself. And the book isn't going to write itself. And the weights out in the gym, they're not going to move themselves. You have to do it, and you have to do it now. And that means you got to stop thinking about it and stop dreaming about it and stop researching every aspect of it and reading all about it and debating the pros and cons of it. Just start doing it. Take that first step and make it happen. Get after it, and get after it here and now.
Yes, one could say I was fairly unruly as a kid. Yeah, I was a little bit of a maniac of a kid. And that's one thing that was great about the military for me, was it's a clean slate, number one, and then they give you very specific, okay, this is what you need to do to succeed. And so you show up a SEAL team and they say, you got to learn about this radio, and here's what you need to know about it. And if you know that, you're going to be successful in that department. And here's what you got to know about this weapon. And if you learn that, then you'll be successful. And that's a great base to start from. And then eventually, what you really learn in the SEAL teams is that what you have to do is you have to be able to think. You have to be able to problem solve. And you have to be able to look at complex problems, simplify them, and then implement solutions to them. And that's what comes a little later once you have that base. But it's a little bit different from what people think, because a lot of times people think that the military everything is super rigid and structured, and that all you're doing is getting orders from above you in the chain of command and you're executing those orders. Well, that's actually not true at all. And what you're really doing in the military is you're looking at complex problems on on the battlefield and you're coming up with a solution with your team on how to get those problems solved. And that's why I think that part of the military, even though it's not well known, it does translate great into the civilian sector, because this is what business people, and now obviously I work with businesses all the time, and that's what the businesses are doing. They're looking at these problems that they have in whatever industry they're in, and they're trying to find out solutions so they can execute them quickly and efficiently.
I was not really good at anything. You know, I wasn't the best runner, I wasn't the best swimmer, I wasn't the best at the obstacle course. I was kind of in the middle on everything, which is actually not a bad place to be, because if you're great at something, it usually might mean that you're weak somewhere else. So for instance, guys that were great at the obstacle course, maybe they weren't that good in the water, or someone that was a great runner, maybe that weren't that great of a swimmer. So if you were great at something, sometimes you had weakness in other areas. For me, I was not that great at anything, but I didn't have any super weaknesses. And so, you know, I was able to make it through the training. But if people have issues and problems, the training will find them and it'll exploit them. You know, honestly, SEAL training is this big, they try and put this big mystical thing on SEAL training, and it's actually not that big of a deal. You go there, I mean, I'm not saying it's easy, because it's hard, but you go there, you have to run, swim, do a bunch of push-ups, pull-ups, dips, rope climbs, that's what you do. Sometimes you don't get to sleep very much, sometimes you're really cold, but it's all just not that big of a deal. You go there, you don't quit. It's not some big life-changing experience. I didn't have some eureka moment about my inner self or anything like that. You show up, you don't quit, that's what training is.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let us know what you thought down in the comment section below.